What's up you guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we are playing more Cane Creek, Train Sim World 2, and last time we did this scenario tank car set out where we got a silver medal for that one. Probably because we took a little bit too long to get started with it, but it was a great scenario to look at. I've really enjoyed this DLC so far. And just the route in general looks like it's very interesting. So today we're going to take a look at the second scenario, which is side-in to side-in. So it's a little bit of a shorter one. It's also in a different loco. So last time we played in the AC4400CW. Now we're going to do the SD40 basically -2, which is a slight variation of trains which we've already seen in Train Sim World. I think the Clinchfield Road has got the SD40, but in this instance we're just going to jump straight into this one, and literally the briefing here is that it says you are running an eastbound ballast train and are currently held in the side-in at Brendel for a meet. So let's hit the start button and get going with this one. We'll get started with this. So we've still got this exceptionally loud traffic noises in our ear, but the conductor here is the message initially here. We're being held at this signal to allow a high priority westbound train to pass. We have clearance to proceed when the signal clears. Okay, we will have to take the side-in again at Thompson to allow another train to pass. Fair play. So, let's look on the map, because I think, yeah, by the looks of things guys, so last time I think we got as far as here with our train. So we came from Thompson, which was here. So we came from here, we travelled down here. And I believe, yeah, it wasn't that side and it was this one, wasn't it? Definitely, yeah. We backed a bunch of tankers into this side in, and then we basically split the train and continued up to this signal. So yeah, if you want to go back and take a look at that episode, that was a good introductory one. But this one, it looks like we're sat here just for the time being. Let's have a look outside. See what this SD40 looks like. Very nice. So it's a smaller loco than the heavier AC, which, yeah, that's that one. Wow, he's flying. Maybe about 80 miles an hour through there. We'll jump aboard and get ready to set off in just a moment. Do we need to do anything here? Okay, our reverse is already in the forward position. Are these switches on? Yeah, everything's on here. Are the lights on? We're not going to waste too much time meddling around with stuff. Okay, we will put a medium light on. And I believe, hopefully everything else should be set. We've got a bit of automatic brake going on. We've got the cut-off valve set to freight, which is correct. And the MU-2A valve lead or dead, which I believe is correct as well. Okay, so we had a bit of fun with our settings last time. This time we're just going to crack on. So we're going to go via location Thompson Springs, passing side-in west as our next stop. And I'll just make sure here we don't have any other funky switches or anything that we need to set. I think everything looks fairly normal. Are you alright, sir? Having a good day? Don't look too happy to be here, to be fair, mate. Well, we'll make it as brief as possible, I think. Get the window open. And I think what we'll do is just hit the horn to start off with. A typical scenario where we have the bell on now. Switch that off. Right, okay. Let's release the automatic brakes and turn the power up. Hopefully we'll get moving without too much of a problem here. The last thing I want is dragging the second loco. We are slightly uphill here, 0.2. Come on guys, we are slipping here, which makes you think that if you guys saw the last episode, you'll see that I fiddled around with the brake settings for quite a while. I don't think our brake settings are right now. So in this instance what we'll do is we'll just switch this to full service. We'll just have a look at this one here. So cut off valve. I think freight, yeah, freight will be right. What about this one? Let's switch this one to full application. And this one, I think. Okay, now some of these settings looks familiar, although I'm not entirely too sure which one this should be. Trail 6 or 26, I don't know. I guess the only way we're going to know is to give it a go. I think switching these off like this, releasing the brakes, and let's give it a whirl. So these brakes come off hopefully now. Come on baby, do you want to go or what? Okay, well she was moving a bit, but she didn't like it too much because we were just simply wheel slipping. So let's switch this to the final setting. This is literally a case of trial and error here with Trail 24. And let's release these. Get the automatic brake off. Turn the power up and release the independent brake. That looks like the one potentially. Give a bit more power here. We need some sand. Turn it up to power setting 4, and that's us on the way by the looks of things. Come on girl. Bit more. Oh, listen to that. Bit more power here. Oh, bit too much there. Bit of slip going on. Just pulling away nicely now though. Pulling away very nicely. We've got a 2.2 miles to a amber signal. We've got a 60 mile per hour speed limit about to kick in. Just keep the power going here. The wheels are slipping. I can't help but think we could have probably done with a bit of sand there, but we're doing alright now. We're moving pretty nicely. That setting that we messed with there, that was literally just a case of having the right setting for the second low core, which means that it follows the lead of this one in terms of basically the brakes need to release on the second low core when the brakes release on the first low core. Otherwise you end up with a situation where the brakes are on the second low core and you're literally pulling dead weight. Have we got a wiper setting here? See if we can find it, eh? No, it's not there. Is it amongst these? Ditch lights, dynamic brake, and oh, bit of slip there again. Bit of wheel slip. It does mean that we are, however, driving under the speed limit, which is a good sign, always. Doing a nice little speed here, 24 mile per hour. Can't seem to find the wiper settings. Let's see if they're available on the D-pad. No. Just switch to an external camera, see how we're getting on. We are blasting along quite nicely now, guys. It's a decent length. Let's have a look, see how much this thing weighs. It's in the menu here. Let's have a look. So 2633.5 ton. So yeah, decent weight. Not as heavy as last time, but I believe this SD40-2 train doesn't have the same power as the AC. Generally speaking, a bit of a smaller low core. I'd love to be able to find the wiper settings somewhere here. Can't help but think the sort of right under my nose type thing. We'll just close that window just for a little bit of a less sort of dramatic sound. What are these ones? Spot reverse. Spotter forwards. Yeah, well, a little bit unsuccessful in terms of our look for the wipers there. Well, we'll keep it moving. We'll keep it moving nicely. We're doing very nice. Got 0.9 to an amber signal. And 3.3 miles to Thompson Springs, passing siding west. Which will ease down the speed when we get there, I think. For now, we're going to push this throttle all the way up. Keep this thing moving as we're going uphill. We're on a 0.9% incline right now. Take it nice and easy up here like so. Oh, listen to that. Nice shine there off the side of the train, if you can see that. Nice reflection. American trains always look kind of reverse to me. See if I can get beyond it here, I'll show you what I mean. So this part here looks like the front of the train, obviously, but when you get beyond it, I mean, if you were looking here, that looks like the sort of front as well, doesn't it? It's kind of confusing to me, that type of thing, but it's probably just because I'm used to seeing mainly UK locos, obviously. But when you get used to the design, I really do have to say, I do think, you know, these trains are a joy to drive. Seems like the second loco is doing most of the power work here. Even the sound there, mind you, look at the graphics there. So you can see both sort of both lots of fumes there. And then as we get closer to this one, it kind of disappears. We move closer to this one disappears, and the other one's much easier to see. I guess that's the way it is in real life as well, isn't it? The closer you are to the object, the harder it is to see in some ways, especially if it's fumes. It's much easier to see the sort of when it's clouded together than what it is when you're right up close to it, I guess. Okay, so we're making pretty good progress still. 2.1 miles to go to our siding. 1.99 miles to our amber signal. We've got a 1.9 miles to a 30 mile per hour speed restriction. We are on full here. We are going uphill, but I do feel as if, you know, this train is underpowered, to be honest with you. It was no wonder that it was so difficult for us to pull away there at the start. Obviously we've got the brakes fully released. We can switch between those things using the X button. So we've got a dynamic brake, which is off. We've got an independent brake, which is fully released, and the automatic brake, which is also fully released. So we shouldn't really have any hindrance in terms of our brakes. But 3 different brakes on this this train. As I said last time, really, I mean, the automatic brake controls the air brakes along the entire train, including the trucks that we're pulling. The independent brake just controls the brakes on the loco, or locos in this instance, because we've got 2 of them. So it's only really useful if you're not attached to the trailers. And the dynamic brake, I'm not entirely too sure how that one works, but I tend to switch between the automatic and the independent, depending on if I've got trucks on the back or not. I think what we'll do, guys, is just switch this thing down to just a coast now. Just come down to idle. Let this thing start to slow down a little bit as we approach this this siding. See how far we are on the map. So as we're heading uphill here, we're going to be heading to this siding spot, and we are going to pass at some point another train. I do wonder when exactly that's going to be, because obviously for this particular marker, this is it's a go via location marker as opposed to a stop. Okay, I'll just bring the throttle up a little bit now just to make sure that we're generally speaking, maintaining speed, because we've rolled off about 10 mile per hour there. We don't want to lose all our speed, that's for sure. I'm giving it a bit more here, just bringing it up. I think the main sort of issue is that we're heading uphill, so that 1% incline is going to slow us considerably as we push on here. Well, listen to the thunder of those engines there, it just sounds beautiful. Listen to that, guys. See if I can switch to a reasonable camera. There we go. Are those blotches on the ground supposed to be water, or is that a form of bush growing there, shrub? I think it's like a bush, isn't it? It looks like a weed of some description, or grass. Nice touch on the reflections here. I like this. Somebody commented on a couple of videos ago to say this game seems to get better. It looks better with each and every DLC, and I think that's a fact. I can't wait to see actually what happens when they bring out the major overhaul for the next gen consoles. Hopefully they deal with the draw distance issues. As you can see, there's items popping in all the time here. Obviously we are playing the Xbox One version here, but on the Series X via backwards compatibility, so yeah, it does give it a bit of a different flavour. Be interesting to see what happens when they properly kick in the sort of next gen features, obviously for Series X and PS5. Okay, let's jump back behind the wheels. The wheel, as I said, not that we have a wheel. We'll ease down the power just a little bit again. Just roll here. Rolling. It looks like we've got a red signal coming up. It's 1.4 miles, so it's a little way to go. But we'll see what happens once we pass this marker. Just bring the power up a tiny bit. We don't want to be slowing to a complete halt, although we have rolled off about half of our speed there. I think we'll just slip it back into idle again. Keep rolling forward, see what our next marker is after this one. It'll be interesting to see. Okay, so we're going to make a stop just before the red signal by the looks of things. Let's take a look at these other trains here as we just crawl up here. This is just a bunch of trucks. Looks like it. Still getting a lot of like road noises. There's not one single car on the road, or any vehicle of any type for that matter. Seems a little odd. Let's bring the power up again here. Okay, so we're clear of the sort of main signal. This one here, which would allow a train to pass through the other side. But we're going to make progress most likely. Let's check this switch. Yeah, that's fine. Most likely up to the next signal. Trying to see where it is. I've most likely... Oh, there it is. So our red signal's here. I would imagine the other train's on its way now, though. Let's see if we can see it. So we've got a single line railroad, which is... I don't know, it's kind of different, isn't it? I mean... You know, it's not typical that you would see this type of thing unless it's on a specific sort of industrial route. But I guess, you know, with this being a specific industrial route, it makes sense for it to be included. Let's have a quick look at some of these models over here. Huts or caravans. Hard to tell, most likely. Well, there we go. Dead giveaway. House. Very nice. Nice touch. I was going to say it's difficult to tell whether it's an office building or a house. But seeing as it was clearly labelled for us. Right. Okay, so 14 miles per hour now. Just crawling along a little bit again. 0.8 to go to our signal. And we'll make a nice little stop just in front of that one, I think. Enjoying this this route so far. I'm not massively blown away by the graphics, I mean personally. But it's a decent route. I'm enjoying the trains, and oh my days, there's a car. That's the first one I've seen. It looks like an old Mercedes. Here we go, guys, just coming in nicely like this. Another car. What's this one? That looks like a BMW or Mercedes. A newer BMW or Mercedes. There we go. That's quite a nice shot, isn't it? So if the train passing. Obviously, I think the rain's slowing the frame rate down a little bit because it looks a little bit jerky to me, that. Especially when we're sort of next to the loco. See what I mean? Okay, guys, we're going to be making a stop in a moment, so I'm just going to ease this thing into idle again and just let this thing roll up here. Got a 0.6% incline, so I think, you know, it's going to gradually slow us down, which is quite a nice touch. Hearing the whistle from that diesel electric engine there reminds me of the Class 66. Just the tick over. I wonder whether they're manufactured by the same company or whether there's whether they've used some of the sound files or how that works. But I can certainly hear the 66 there. That's for sure, or something that sounds similar to it. Right, what we'll do, guys, I think is I'm just going to be very cautious here. Just make sure I'm on the automatic brake. And because we're going to be making a stop, which I don't think will be a problem. But because we've got a red signal coming up and I really don't want to fail, I think a little bit of brakes wouldn't be, you know, wouldn't go amiss here. Easing down to 10 miles per hour now. Do a nice little release again. So I think... Oh, we're heading downhill as well now, so that's not going to help us. So we've rolled off a lot of our speed here. And I think when we stop here, it's going to be quite nice, to be honest with you. Quite a nice little stop. Although it is right before the red signal, which is quite a dangerous thing, to be honest with you. Anyway. Really just slowing it down nicely here. Doing a good job, I think. We're doing alright. Okay, brakes on. There we go, nicely done. Conductor will have to wait here for a while to allow traffic to clear. Well, let's see. Take a look on the map and see if we can see where the other train is. Not really that far to the end of the line, to be fair, here now. Oh, well, that's the end of the scenario, guys. I thought we were going to see another train come through there. We got a gold medal for that one. So we obviously did that one very nicely. We timed everything nicely. Obviously, we're under the speed limit. I would say that's mainly due to the lack of power within the train and sort of heading up the incline. But I really enjoyed that one, guys. Did you have a good one with that? Good time with that one? Please do let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave me a like. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd love it if you could go ahead and do that. It would really help me out a great deal. And I just want to say thanks so much for coming through today, guys, and I'll catch you again soon.